So here we are at Beaver Creek Alegria Spa, and I'm Michelle Kenny. A lot of you may know me, and today we are going to be doing just a mat workout that you can do anytime, any place with just a small little area. So you've all done my mat work before, and let's get started. So we're going to start with the squishy ball, and you want to stick that right behind your back, bend your knees and have them just about that parallel. So parallel from the toes to the knees to the hips, and just keep that motion and sink back into the ball. And then we're just going to exhale and breathe into it. So inhale, bringing it up, and then exhale and sinking it back. Let's just do that 4 times to get started. And pull back. So right away you want to feel the lower belly muscles pulling in and flattening down to the spine. So inhale as you reach forward, and exhale to come back. Now if you don't have a squishy ball, you want to get one, but you can use it here as well. So if you don't have the ball, we can just start to sink back into the lower back, and knowing that right about here is going to be that spot where we sort of go down too quickly. So we're going to try to work into that area. So let's inhale, bringing the arms over the chest, lifting the head up, and remember to start your exhale and just really press down into the lower back. So that's pretty much a good place for us to start, pressing down into the lower back and making sure you make that connection. And then on your next exhale, let's go ahead and try to bring it on up. So if you find that you're needing to go off to the side to get yourself up, then you want to just stick with that partial. So let's do a few partials here. Arms over, feel the stretch. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, and that's the most important part. And make sure you use that breath and bring it back down. And again, so one of my favorite things is knowing that if you needed to, you could pick yourself up without anybody's help. And again, especially when we're out here on the mountain. And again, inhale, exhale, partial first, and then go ahead and try to roll it all the way up and reach up for a nice long stretch. So bending the knees is always an option, and these props are just sort of for fun. So without any props, bending the knees is just going to help you to sink back with control. So again, if you find that you're not having that control through the center, you want to just bend the knees a little and make sure that your breath is cooperating with you as you move through the movement. Then we're just going to reach forward and give the body a little bit of a stretch here. So if you find that the back of your legs are really tight, that's a good reason to keep on trying to loosen them. And if it's too much of a tug in the back of your knees, again, you just bend the legs and work within your own body. So I like to tell you that Pilates, I think, is for everyone, but not every exercise works for everyone. So during this little segment here, we will be letting you know what to do. Exhale, drawing up and over so that the exercises work for you. So with osteo, you want to try to keep a lengthened back and not so much rounding. So you can kind of choose. And when it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right for you. So we'll go ahead and bring it all the way down. So little props that you can have, if you don't have any of these special toys, is the towel. So this towel goes at the base of your skull. You don't want to jam it onto your neck. Base of your skull, so you can nod your chin down and open up your chest and reach long out of the arms. So we have to be completely in the right form. Bringing the legs up to tabletop. You want your knees to be shining on the ceiling, and then go ahead and squeeze them together. I like to call this base camp down here, bathing suit muscles pulling together, and then go ahead and tuck. So when we tuck the pelvis, the tailbone rolls up a little bit, and that makes it really safe position. You should still feel it. When the knees float over, it becomes a little more difficult to maintain that pelvic stability. So you can bring it in, you can bring it over, and if you've been practicing and doing this all the time with me, you'll probably be able to straighten the legs without arching the back and bringing the arms out. We're going to roll up and do the 100, where you're pumping the arms and breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. And in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 20. So it's in through the nose. This is hard. And 30, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 40. And I'd like to quit now. 50, but we'll keep on going here. And exhale out. 62, 3, 4, 5. Bending your knees anytime. 72, 3, 4, 5. Any neck tension? Put the head down. 82, 3, 4, 5, but you have to finish. 92, 3, 4, 5, and in. And exhale out. 100. Hug the knees. So that's pretty much our staple warm-up, the 100. And roll it all the way down. Arms over the head. And from here, we just start rolling into the workout. So I'm going to use these. If you have them, they're great little 3-pound weights. If not, I can order them for you. Inhale, arms over the chest. We'll lift the head up. And the weights are going to help you to roll through that sticky section right there. And bring it forward. Again, straight back if you have spinal issues like brittle bones. All right. And exhale and roll back. Again, if you're just starting out, just bend the knees. Make your movement look small and controlled. All right, and forward and roll back. So we do want to kind of create a flow. And every repetition should feel slightly different, reaching it out forward, because we're constantly trying to control, precision, control, all that good stuff. And again, inhale. So if you find that you're, hoisting yourself up, you want to try to control that more, or just do a partial and exhale and roll back. But if you practice, 3 times a week, you'll probably find that your roll-ups become a little more flow-like, and you'll be able to straighten the legs. And exhale, roll back. We're just going to do one more there. Inhale and exhale. Again, these little weights are really handy to help you through that sticky spot. And then to just get a little upper body, we'll go ahead and reach forward and pull back. And reach, kind of like rowing and back, really letting your body lean forward and pulling back. And all of this should be core work. So if you don't ever feel it in the center of your body, then you're just probably not doing any core work. You're just exercising. And that's okay, but why do that, right? So forward, you get that stretch, and back, and pull it up, and then bring the arms out, and we'll pull in. So a little chest work, and back. So we want to think about the shoulder blades, the back, and you want to try to keep them down the back. So we're going to give them a pull down, and then we're going to shrug up. All right, so we don't want to do that. Keep them down and forward. We don't even know why we shrug all the time, forward and back. And you could add a little movement to that. And forward, and back, and back. Good. So reach forward last time, dropping the head. And then we'll go ahead and press them together. Roll all the way back into the mat and get a nice stretch with the arms over your head. Let's go ahead, take these and bring them right by the side. Again, these props are optional. You don't have to have them to do any of this work. They just make it a little more fun. So next are our leg circles. So let's bring the leg up, circle it around a little bit. Right now I'm moving with my ankle muscles. And then you're just going to relax your foot and turn your whole leg to the inside and back. So just trying to get your femur bone, your thigh bone, to do that movement back and forth. If you can get your leg to float right over the hip in that turnout position, or bend the knee if you're struggling with the hamstrings. The most important part of the leg circles is the positioning of your hips. So for now, I want you to go ahead and tuck and push down into the lower back really firm, making sure that your head didn't get thrown back. So again, towel position is really important. Chin down, open chest, heel to the center line, and we'll go ahead and start crossing over. So holding your pelvis in that neutral position is the key work we're thinking about here, all right? So as the leg moves, you don't want your whole body to rock with it. And if you don't think it is, it most likely is. So you want to really pick apart your movement. When an exercise feels like you've got it nailed and it's super easy, then you're probably sort of moving the bones. So I want you to think about, as the leg comes around, at what point the hip starts to move, and then what you can recruit, what small little muscles you can recruit to prevent that rocking motion. And we come around and back to center. Bending the legs keeps things a little more centered. So if you do feel like you're being a fish on a pier, so go ahead and bend the legs one more time. Come around and back to center. And then we'll go the other way, open and scoop. So you want to exhale through the movement. Really be in touch with that. Every time you breathe is when you're contracting the rib cage and tightening up the core muscles so that the whole body doesn't go along with the leg. So optimally, only the leg is moving and we're in neutral pelvis. If you really need to go ahead and into a tuck, you can, but it's better to try to hold the neutral pelvis, that natural curve to your lower back. Go ahead and pull that knee in. Hopefully you felt that in the inner thigh. Not that we need to work inner thighs, I'm sure. Take the other leg up. A little stretch might be nice too. And as you're stretching, make sure when you pull to you that you're not letting your head get tilted back. So you want to pay attention of posture from head to toe. So the chin down, reposition yourself whenever you need to. So you want to take the time to do that. I'm in a tuck right now, so my whole pelvis is tucking in and the leg comes a little bit closer. So when you float the leg over the hip, again, we're in that neutral pelvis, and we'll go ahead with our leg circles. Reaching long out of the arms, you kind of have to know where your fingertips are, a little bit of everything. And that's the great work of Pilates, is that we get more in touch with our body so that during the day you're going to hold better posture, hopefully. And that's going to make the biggest difference in the way that you position yourself all day. And of course, trying to get down on the mat at least 3 times a week, and then we'll open up to the other side. Even once a week, you'll feel benefits, but trying to do a little more justice for your body. It's like a little oiling session. We'll go for 4 more here. Open and scoop. Feeling the inner thigh, feeling any shifts in the hips and pelvis. Trying to maintain neutral. Even placing your fingertips on will give you a little cue, like, oh yeah, I am moving it. And then go ahead and we'll pull that leg in, back in, and we're going to go into rolling like a ball. So conditions like osteo, we don't really want to go rocking back too far. So you can keep the small little tuck. What you want to feel is really pushing down into the lower back, flattening out the belly, and then go ahead. And if you feel like rocking, you can bring it back and forth. The chin is tucked, you don't drop your head back. And again, you want to look smooth and in control, rolling like a ball, not a box. So we're going to come all the way up and go into spine stretch. So legs are about as wide as the mat, a little bit wider, and then you want to pull the toes back. So if you have a mirror, that's always nice to look in the mirror. Sometimes you'll be like, oh goodness, that's me. So you want to sit up nice and tall. Bending the knees might be what you need to do to get the lower back in that right position and arms forward. Pull the toes back, take a deep breath, and then we're going to go ahead and sink back, and then come up forward again. So that's a good modification to start. So if you have any kind of spinal issues, this is an okay exercise to do, because we're just trying to strengthen into the core muscles, give it a little flexibility, and come back up. So again, we're rocking the pelvis into that tilt, coming into neutral, and bringing it into an arch. So finding your neutral pelvis, we're going to go into spine stretch. Just separate your shoulder blades and hug, and then sink back. The navel is coming way back, but you want to stay in a neutral pelvis as you come forward, letting your head drop below the arms. Pull the toes back for a little extra stretch, and then go ahead and pull up from the bottom to the top. So if there were a wall behind you, you're going lower back, middle back, shoulder blades, and finally head and neck. And again, drop down. So it's really important that you try to do these with precision and control. We like to use those words. And exhale and draw back up. And just be in your own body. And again, exhale, sink in, lean forward. Staying in that neutral pelvis, letting your head drop. And if you never feel a stretch through your spine, you're probably not doing spine stretch. So some of these exercises we can kind of get away with just leaning and lifting. But the good news is you're still exercising, you're just not doing Pilates, right? Shake the head out a little bit and then go ahead and bring it all the way up. And we'll go into our spine twist. With the twist, I usually like to use the ring, so if you've got one, go ahead and bring the knees together. Again, that little bend of the knee is going to get you nice and tall through the spine. And then we'll twist and come back to center. And the ring keeps you honest here. It keeps your hips forward as you rotate through the rib cage. So if you don't have the ring, you want to watch out for one hip shifting. So just kind of glue your heels together and go back and forth into your rotations. Inhale, center, and exhale, twist. I like those 3 little pulses. And 3, 2, and 1, and again. 3, 2, and 1. So right now we're addressing the spine in a rotation and also extended spine. So we have our flexion, the C shape. We have our extension, the long shape. So let's do that together. Flexing, scooping it in. and lifting. Scooping. So there's the C shape. So when we talk flexion, that's what we're talking about. So extension is elongating the spine, and that's where we are here, and then rotating. So those are basically the movements, and we want to make sure that we can do all of them with control. Rolling back in, we're going to do the ab series of 5. One leg in, one leg out. So this series is designed to kind of fatigue you a little bit. So it's right leg in. The outside hand pulls everything in, so you don't want to be flopping all over your mat, right? And pull. That's my new saying now. Fish on a pier. And pull. And pull. So single leg pull. Sometimes we'll add this little double tug, right? Pull, pull. And when you add that double tug, you definitely don't want your neck to be taking it, right? The curls are bouncing today. So you can also, put your head down. So sometimes in class, I'll watch people and wonder why they don't have their head down and they're struggling with their neck. So your neck should never be a part of it. And pull, and pull. One more each side. And that other leg really reaches out with a purpose. Legs in for double leg pull. You want to curl the tailbone up a little bit. So we're in our tuck. And then you're going to lay it out. Open it up. Try to stay in neutral pelvis here. And then tuck again. Never arching. So you have to determine how far out you're going to reach. If that's too much, you could go up more towards the ceiling, right? So there's always a way for you to completely exercise. Keep moving though. Ooh, 2 more. Pull it in. And last time. And then hands come behind the head. La la, just in time to rest your head. And legs together. The next one is double straight leg stretch. So legs are bent, or if you've got that flexibility, go ahead and straighten them. Pressure inner thighs together, rooting your heels. Here's the thing, right here. You want to make sure that you're staying in a neutral pelvis if you can. So when the legs reach away, don't go into an arch. Ooh, try to hold stability. So there you know how far down you're going to go. Been practicing for a while, so I'll show off here with one. I like to sometimes put the hand right on that low belly muscle. And if you feel it start to stick out, then you've gone too far. You want to learn how to really pull that in. Exhale to bring the legs back to center without swinging, right? So we're not doing any fast motions. So you can kind of think about same speed. 1, 2, 3, and same speed back. And that's double straight leg. Single, we put one in, and we add that little 1, 2. So I like those little classical tugs. Pull, pull, so you have to be breathing. Luckily, you don't have to be talking. You just have to be listening and pull, and pull, and pull. You should be feeling this. The leg's coming to you, all right? So you don't want to have a bouncing head. And again, on the towel is understandable. And then go ahead, bend the legs in our finish up with our crisscross and twist. So in crisscross, I want you to feel your pelvis not moving. The rib cage is moving, rotating back and forth. So it's not about flinging your elbows around. Again, this one can really turn into that fish on a pier episode. Whoosh, and back. Feet down is fine too, but just finish them up. Rotating the ribs. And 2. And last time. Oh gosh, I feel it. And rest. That's John's line. So we're going to take the towel out for bridge work, arms down, open the chest. Using a little squishy ball if you have it, just to be honest with your legs, so you've got that base connection. When you take this and you bring it between the legs, don't squeeze with the knees. You want to squeeze from base camp, those bathing suit muscles, and go ahead into a tuck and an arch. So if you don't know what I'm talking about now, let me try to explain it again for you, right? When you tuck, you tilt the pelvis and you make a little suction for the lower back, still squeezing in gently with the ball. And you want to make sure that the head and neck didn't move with that. So let's try that again. Go to neutral pelvis and then go to an arch. Neutral and go to a tuck. So your gaze is always looking at something. So you do want to be aware of every part of your body. Again, that helps you with your posture. So we go into a tuck and we're going to go ahead and slowly lift the spine up and bring it back down. So the idea of bridge work is everyone can do it, and it's great, and it's a do-all exercise, but it can be mimicked and made too easy without using any of your real spinal muscles. So if you don't want to shrink, listen to me. Push down into a tuck, gently start to lift the spine. My favorite saying, 1 vertebra at a time, right? which is basically impossible. When you come up, you're coming up to your shoulders, so you can still talk. You don't want to sound all constricted. Go ahead and lower it all the way down. So be careful not to overuse your gluteus maximus. So when I talk about base camp, it's that gentle pulling of the leg bones together. So you feel tight back here, but that's not the whole motion. Glutes get a lot of work. They are the largest muscle group of everyone's body. So I was glad to know that I'm anatomically correct there. Pull it all the way up and then bring it back down. And this bridge will help you with exercises like rollover. So continue on bridging, or you can practice the rollover. So now when you do a rollover, you'll know whether or not you are bridging right. So I'm going into imprint, and I'm starting to peel the spine up. I can still talk to you, open flex, and go ahead and roll it back down. So you have to be in control of that. So if you find that you're swinging and coming way up, and then you're coming down like this, then I suggest you go right back into the bridge. 2 more rollovers. We're going to open as wide as the shoulders. Exhale. So whether you're bridging or rolling over, we're all exercising still. So during any class, you want to try to keep modifying and keep moving. All right, and open. And exhale, curl and bridge up. So the bridge work is something that I like people to do in my class when another exercise isn't working for them. All right, so one final bridge, pushing down, gently peeling up. When you think about the muscles in between your spinal column, in each vertebra, they're small, so learning how to connect to them does take some practice, and roll it all the way back down. Then we'll bring the arms over the head, just transitioning with a roll up. Exhale, and roll yourself up. Good, so we're gonna flip it around. I always like to take the towel, flip the whole process around, then lean back into this little clamshell. I think we stole it from yoga, child's pose. It's a nice release for the back. So the next work we'll be doing is extension work. So coming down onto the elbows. I like to sometimes bring the squishy ball underneath you. So you want to make sure that your belly is off of it and just hold your plank. So elbows and knees is fine for a plank. I find when people get up onto their hands, they start collapsing their shoulders and everything falls apart. So sometimes it's just better to take the exercise down to its bare bones. So I'm pulling in the belly, tucking the tailbone, and pulling the chest through the elbow. So you don't want your head flopping between your arms. Ooh, pull. And then we're going to take it all the way down. So planking, always a good exercise. We just have to make sure that we're not sagging on the back. So forehead on the towel, and we're going to go with our extension work. So if you can just bring your arms to the side like a cactus, you're going to roll the towel forward, or pretend you have a little marble or something and roll it forward. You're watching it roll on the floor as you start to lift up and use your back muscles, pulling in on your stomach muscles, tightening up on the rib cage. And I really like extension, so I'm going to come up really high. Feels good for my back. But if you have if you have issues in your spine, stenosis, and you're probably not going to be real comfortable with that, so you can just take it right here. You can also take this exercise down to the bare bone. So if you want to keep coming up, you can come up and you come down with control, or you can just stay here and take your breath, squeeze your rib cage, tighten up the butt bones, pull the belly in, and it looks like I'm not really doing anything, but I feel like I'm floating on the mat, okay? So you don't want to just be a block on your mat. So whether you're coming up into extension or keeping it down low, you want to have control. And I'm going to take this one into a little rock catch, just in case you're practicing and you want to take it up a notch, or into the swan. And this one definitely can go very wrong. Okay, so bring it all the way up and bring it back. So I'm taking those options to go to the next step. Is your practice and you want to know where you are there. Let's tuck the tailbone under and then bring it back. So we can do our tucks and arches here too. Tuck and arch. So again, if something isn't working for you, tucks and arches are always good. You're just tucking the tailbone in and arching it back. Always pulling in your stomach, pretty much 24/7. All right, coming back down and arms forward. So swimming, you know that I always have a big sermon about the swim exercise. So swimming is a lift of the leg, and pretend you have one bone and there's no bend anymore to the knee. You just lift it up and then switch to the other side. That's important that you're lifting from the base. From the base, back and forth. Also help tighten up on the back side there. And the arm work is here. Shoulder lifts the arm, shoulder lifts the arm. So you're not really lifting the hand, you're lifting from the shoulder. And that back and forth motion, you don't want to have a rocking with that. So swimming can go very wrong. So I like to just double fold the towel, head on it, right arm up and left thigh out. And we do 3 sets of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, breathing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Press back, and we'll just slide back into child's pose. Clamshell, release, and this is, again, somewhere you can come at any time. Coming back out and down, we're going to backstroke. So head lifts up, or you can keep it on the towel. Arms float up, feet stay on the floor. Reach forward, exhale, and pull up. Reach forward, and yes, you're working low back muscles. Reach forward, and 3. Let's get this over with, right? 2, nice deep breath, and 1. Arms down, let's push up and do some Pilates push-ups. So let's take the towel, put it right between the thumbs, and that's where the chest should hit. So that's kind of a good target. Elbows are close to the body. I always say that, and then they go out to the side. So if you have any desire to work the back of your arms, just hold your elbows close to your body. And down for 4, and 3, and 2. Of course, you can be on your toes if you want to, and lean back for that stretch. So we're just going to flip the whole thing over again and kind of wrap this session up so you can get on with your day. So we're going to take it here and roll back again. I will add a segment where you can do the side-lying leg work. So if you find that you have the time to go ahead and do the side-lying leg work, but if not, you know, sometimes time is our problem when we're trying to get our exercise in. So don't think about it all like it has to be an hour. It can be 20 minutes, right? 10 minutes, just as long as it's not 0 minutes. So pull the knees in for a hug and just notice that the work you've done, and give yourself a hand for that, getting it done. So we're going to be a little traditional here in our ending. So we're going to inhale, bring it up, lift the head, exhale, roll up through the spine. Good. Let's add another rotation to finish it up. Ooh, it's snowing. And back to the center and off to the other side. And back to the center. We're going to go into the seal. So the seal is another one of those rolling exercises where you rock back. So this isn't for everyone, but I really like it. So hands come around, and you want to think about bringing your feet together, but not with your ankle muscles, more from base camp. So belly comes in, and you're in a tuck, and it goes 1, 2, 3, and the legs come back 3 inches off the floor, 1, 2, 3, and again, I'm only rolling back to my shoulder blades, not my head, neck, and shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I start to laugh on this one, and very traditionally, we come up on the last one. 1, 2, 3, and then you come up, standing, and voila, we are finished.